Hello, welcome. This is a November a soulmate reading. Okay, so basically, sorry about that. It's for any relationship, could be family, friends, lover, but it's sort of where you've got an intense connection with somebody, okay? So it's a bit different from twin flame, because twin flame is sort of where you've got a runner and a chaser and someone who's very emotionally avoidant, who just literally probably has never really been able to maintain a relationship, to be honest with you. Sorry about this, I'm having technical issues. With the intense connection, the soulmate, it's not necessarily straightforward because we've all got ego. You know, we're all incarnated here, aren't we? So we've all got ego, and to varying degrees, and so we still have issues come up in these relationships, even if they're soulmate relationships. The thing with the soulmate is you don't tend to get quite such long periods apart, okay? And that's the difference with a twin flame or the emotionally avoidant person. You can get very long gaps. So anyway, let's go into this. With soulmates or this type of intense connection, there can be difficulties, but you generally, even if you have difficulties, you get drawn back together very quickly. You might not resolve issues necessarily, but you tend to have a more flowing, you know, there's not these really massive gaps anyway. And also normally the person also would normally like a connection, and it's what they normally would want, you know, but they might be going through a phase in their life of putting up a barrier just because they've gone through a bad experience or something. So, but you know, deep down, this is somebody, it's a bit different to the avoidant person, the twin flame, where there's just like, well, anyway, let's go into the reading. I won't keep explaining it. I think I've made it clear. And it's just the way I work, by the way. So let's go into it then. Spirit, please show us what's going on for what's been happening. So recent past, you've got here the Queen of Pentacles energy. Now, Queen of Pentacles means money looking pretty good long term. You know, things picking up money wise. Also just knowing your value and worth, really. So there's been this kind of increase in you being aware of your value and worth and feeling a lot more stable and grounded in yourself. So, you know, because the Queen of Pentacles is very stable and grounded in themselves, it's that type of energy, and it doesn't matter what gender or sexuality you are, but it's like with this energy, this is what's recently happened, yeah. Now we're looking here towards November, which I can't really believe. So it's kind of like saying, you know, October, or just before you watch this video, you know, a couple of weeks before you watch this video, is really about you just becoming more grounded, more solid in yourself, more stable, you know, working hard, feeling more focused and on track, feeling more valued, you know, just self-value going up. Yeah, and look at that, solid foundation, Four of Wands, you know. It's like October is a month of like getting more solid within ourselves, having a better foundation within ourselves, being more committed to ourselves, you know, rather than trying to please other people, and getting ourselves in a more, well, feeling happier as well, just feeling happier because we're noticing all these more positive changes inside ourselves. So, what's going on in November? Okay, you've got the Five of Cups here. So there's a sort of feeling of disappointment, okay? There's a feeling of disappointment and regrets in November. Let's see why that is. You've got here the Hierophant. Now, the Hierophant is the guru. The Hierophant is the spiritual teacher, keeping you on track, keeping you on path. And it's like they're saying, look, in November, you're going to have to be really sort of vigilant and really you're going to really stay on track with your spirituality. You're going to stay on track with your beliefs and all the good work that you've been putting in October, the month before you watch this video. Now, you may notice your ego wanting to kind of play out negative stories or be a bit negative about things, but you're going to be guided by spirit so that you don't go down that slippery slope. Okay, now for some of you with the Five of Cups, it can mean a long-term relationship, but it's beset with challenges. Okay, so this could also be the case. So let's see a bit more then about the person. Okay, what about this soulmate or this person we've got this intense connection with in November? Right, they're juggling too much. They may be trying to please too many different people here, right, with the Two of Pentacles. Now, they are trying to get a better balance, which is good. They're probably trying to get on top of their money situation. They're also learning to just not force things. They're learning, they're definitely learning to get a better balance and not to force things. To be more in the flow. Can you see how interesting it is? Because you've got that there, and then you've also got it there, right? So there's a double message in that card. It's like this person's learning to be a bit more surrendered and a bit more in the flow, because it's like this person's perhaps been too controlling, or they have been trying to please too many people. I don't know, it's like, I'm not saying they're a people pleaser, because they really might not be a people pleaser, but they sort of, it's like they're spreading themselves too thin or something like that. And maybe speaking to too many different people or juggling too many things. Whatever it is, November, your person is going to learn to sort of chill out a bit, which is good. That, you know, they're going to learn to sort of surrender a bit more and be a bit more accepting and not keep doing that. They do need to think about that. So let's have a look at what this person thinks of you in November. Okay, they've got the Queen of Swords, right? So they're definitely very boundaried with you, but they also notice your boundaries going up. Which I think is definitely the case, because you've got the Queen of Pentacles energy. So, you know, look, I mean, both of you are rebuilding your lives. Both of you are becoming more boundaried. Both of you are rediscovering your self-worth and building up a more solid foundation for yourself. So weirdly, you are both doing the same process. But your person, yeah, I think they're going to notice that you're a bit more cold, perhaps. You're not, you know, you're not just giving in to them anymore. I feel like they've been up to too many things, and they do need to think about that in November and maybe slow down a bit. And that it looks like that's what they'll be working towards, and maybe working towards either if they have been pleasing too many people, or maybe they've been spreading themselves too thin, they're going to start slowing down, not pushing and forcing things, but just learning to be a bit more relaxed and kind of just go with the flow of life, just letting things unfold naturally. I feel like that's what this person's needed to learn from these cards. You know, and they do see you as somebody who, although they see you as a bit cold in November, they do see you as somebody that they want to work with and keep in contact with and progress with. Because the Three of Wands does indicate that. So it's kind of funny. I think they sort of, there's a certain coldness there, and yet it's almost like it's becoming quite business-like between you both. It's quite strange, really, for a soulmate connection or an intense connection, but it just feels more business-like here. But it's not like this person's cutting you off. They want to work with you. They actually even maybe might be a bit more supportive to you in November. but there's still an element of very strong boundaries between you both, and I think you're mirroring that now, and you're also being very boundaried. Okay, let's see how they feel. King of Cups. Well, they're kind of getting more into their emotions in November with the King of Cups energy. They're also a bit more spiritual. Even if this person's not really spiritual, there's something going on here, because the Strength card is spirit and grace, and the King of Cups is spirit guides. It's like they're being guided, and I think they're being guided to be careful with their ego, because this is their ego thinking and planning too many things, which is what was indicated in this Two of Pentacles card. I feel like this person's been doing too many things. I know I said that they've been speaking to too many people. I don't want to plant ideas in your heads. I'm not saying they've been cheating on you, but it's just one example that they may have been talking to too many people, being too busy, networking too much, spreading themselves too thin, whatever. And there's this feeling of them surrendering more, and being guided more by spirit and slowing down a bit in November, because the tendency is for this person to just kind of go into dream world, la la land, and they can get a bit carried away or something. I don't know, something like that. Now, how they want to move forward, they are still scared in November. They've got the Fear card. They may be a bit worried about, I don't know, losing you, or worried about how things are going to progress. High Priestess, they're private as well. So don't expect anything different from this person in November. They're still going to be private, and they're still going to be worried about how to proceed with you. But there is a spiritual element, because with the High Priestess, the Strength, the Hierophant, and the King of Cups, it's very strange. There's a lot of problems here between you and this person. It's tricky, but there's still commitment there between you both. And you're guided by spirit. I mean, this person's being guided by spirit to do the right thing. But they're scared, and they won't open up, but they are being guided by spirit. There's something going on here in November. What's hidden that you don't see? Look at that, the moon. I mean, you know, the moon is, well, amazing really, because that is very hidden. It's like the path is unclear, but it's improving your psychic, you know, abilities. The advice from Spirit is to keep moving forward, okay? You've got to keep moving forward in November. Don't look back. Keep moving forward. Don't hang around for this person or try to change yourself. Keep doing what you need to do. It's very important, because the path is still unclear, so you have to work with the flow of life and do what you need to do for you. The outcome card is that, you know, you could actually be finding yourself really wondering what the hell's going on, because this person's very private. But I don't think it's going to stop you moving forward. You've got the Ten of Pentacles as well. So the Ten of Pentacles is long-term prosperity and long-term relationships. Something will get revealed with this Moon card. You've got to keep doing what you're doing. Keep remembering your value and your worth through November. I feel it's going to drive you a bit crazy, but by the end of the month, you're going to have some good news. You're going to realise that you're building towards your own long-term prosperity. This could be a long-term relationship, I'm just saying, with somebody where there is issues, okay? But equally, you're not pushing for it because you're actually following your own path, okay? So it's an interesting reading. I am cutting it a little bit short because I've got to go and pick my kids up, but I'm sending you lots of love and peace. And if you'd like to book in for a reading, do contact me.